Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Primetime Carolina, where the last time I talked to you, we were up here, and now we're down here. But we're Panthers fans, so we're used to it, baby. I'm Tanner Blue, along with my co-host Dave LaFave. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Tanner, what is wrong with this team, man? Oh, my God.
Man, oh, man. Man, oh, man. That's all I can say.
Man. Dude.
Look, we come to you with these, sarcastic, fun attitudes, but deep down, we're hurting, baby. We're hurting bad.
I'm in pain, man. You can see it in my eyes. I don't say good morning like I used to. Man, I'm hurting. My soul is hurting. These Panthers got me hurting inside.
Got me hurting. You know, some people say don't take it so personal, but it's tough, man. It's tough sometimes when, you spend every Sunday for X amount of years doing the same thing. And it's tough, man. It is.
The lowest lows, man. We are a team full that is a roller coaster of emotions, man, and we hit some low lows.
Absolutely. Well, in case you've been living under a rock the past couple days, the Panthers' playoff chances are pretty much over. The season's chances are pretty much over. This coaching staff is pretty much over, and a lot of these players are pretty much over. And this game was definitely over. 33-10. Panthers lose down in Miami in what seemed like would be a pretty winnable game, a closer game that was on the scoreboard. And, last time we talked on the podcast, I wasn't here for the New England episode, but I was at the game, or excuse me, not the New England episode. I'm sorry. I wasn't here for the Washington episode, but I was at the game. And, the atmosphere was insane. I hate I didn't get to come on last week and talk about it, but the atmosphere was insane. Everything was on the come up. Cam Newton played well. We did lose the game, but there was still that little glimmer of hope that, hey, we can go down here in Miami and win this game and get back to 6-6, make the last push for the playoffs. Boy, was I wrong. There is a lot to talk about. And Dave, there's – like I said, there's a lot to talk about. Where do we start, man?
Dude, this game was just utter domination, man. We were just dominated from start to finish, dude. And, for me, this game really just boiled down to how inept our coaches are, especially, I'm looking at Joe Brady on the offensive side of the ball. I don't understand what he's doing. I've talked about it really the whole season, or we've talked about it really the whole season. Don't understand what he's doing. I don't understand how this offense could add the pieces they've had, add in the offseason, and just get worse. And to a point where now they're just unwatchable. They're really just one of the worst offenses in the NFL. Cam Newton's come in and provided a bit of a spark, but obviously that wasn't near enough in this game. And what that boiled down to is in this game, you saw it, the same thing they've been doing all year, spreading out this offense, trying to throw the ball more than they should. It was obvious from the beginning there was no way we were going to be able to block these guys up front. That's how they keep winning these last, 4 games in a row, is they've been selling out on their pass rush, playing man on the outside, and playing good enough coverage that quarterbacks have nowhere to go with the ball. And we did nothing to combat that. We came in with no plan to come back and try to use their strengths against them. I don't understand how these coaches can just come in and keep making these same mistakes. It just seems so obvious when I'm sitting on the couch watching it. I don't know what's going on. You're the NFL coach. You tell me what's going on. But I'm sitting here on the couch and I'm looking at it and it doesn't make sense to me. It shouldn't be that obvious.
Man, it's just there's one factor, I think, in all this. I'm going to touch on that later on a little bit in the episode, but kind of my reasoning as to what is causing this concern and what I think needs to happen, but we'll save that for a little bit later on. Speaking about the game, we just got dominated in all 3 phases: offense, defense, and it's bad when you're getting dominated in special teams. Another block punt.
Another one.
Chase Blackburn, I love you, brother, but you might be on the chopping block. It's not been good special teams-wise, especially when it comes to, just punting the ball and protecting the punter and, not getting a punt blocked. On offense, the offensive line was complete garbage, which I'm not going to get too much into that because we already know that. It's like beating a dead horse. We already know the offensive line's terrible. It's the number one. That's right. I said it. It's the number one priority going into next season. I don't care if we have freaking Ryan Leaf back there at quarterback. You better get this man a damn offensive line, whoever's going to be back there, because it doesn't matter who it is. They won't survive. They won't play well until this team gets better on the offensive line. Second, defense. Man, it's like seeing it's like investing in like a stock that you like know is going to take off, and then it just plummets and you lose all your damn money. Just this defense is filled with talent everywhere. They've got guys everywhere. They're too good to be this bad, which is going to kind of link to what I'm getting at later on down the road. And thirdly, man, I love some Cam Newton. He's my favorite player of all time. But, man, he was absolutely terrible. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for him, but, I feel like a couple things could have been just some of the routes the receivers are running, maybe some non-familiarity within the system because he is new to it. But even Cam Newton, even a lesser 2015 Superman Cam Newton cannot save this team. He can't. And this was kind of our last-ditch effort, and here we are at 5-7, and the Panthers are putting guys on IR already. And this season is pretty much a wrap, man. We're going to have to move on to the offseason, get ready for the draft. I feel like we've said that quite a lot recently, but in all phases of this game, it was absolute domination by the Dolphins.
Yeah, man. And there's just no, there's so many different talking points for the Panthers right now. Like, I don't even know where to start. But just talking about that offensive line, like, even going into the season, we knew it was going to be a huge issue, and we felt like it was never really addressed. And before the season, Matt Rule would stand up in front of the podium and talk about how he feels like they've made, the moves they need to make to have a good offensive line and yada, yada, yada. And it was like, I don't know, man, I'm not buying it. And then the season starts, and it's obvious from the beginning our offensive line wasn't good. And as the season progressed, it's just gotten worse and worse. I don't know if it's teams figuring us out or it's just the fact that we don't have any real depth. But I don't know, man. Like, the first thing that comes to mind to me is I think of Russell Okung, who was on the team last year, played left tackle for the team last year. He was not amazing, but he was a lot better than what we have now. He's been a free agent this whole season. You've been aggressive the whole time, making all these trades and, going out and signing Cam Newton. Like, you've been aggressive the whole way. Why isn't it when it comes to the offensive line you want to try to cut corners? When the guy that is capable of starting is literally sitting at home right now, all you had to do was bring him back.
Hey, man, there's a lot of question marks, and honestly, I don't even want to focus too much on this game because the fact is we sucked and we lost. I'd rather just talk about the future and what some of the plans are, if that's okay with you.
Oh yeah, we could talk about that all day, but we still have 5 games left.
Unfortunately,
I mean, they're throwing in the towel in the season. They have to be. If they're putting McCaffrey on IR, they're putting Dante Jackson on IR. I mean.
So I said I was gonna save this for later on, but I'm just gonna go ahead and bring it out now. There is one thing. There's a lot of things, but the one main thing holding this team back, in my opinion, and it's very obvious, it's his coaching staff. And believe me, I have been a defender of Matt Rule. I have been someone that has wanted to give him opportunity after opportunity. I've believed in him. I thought he was getting a bad rap at times and that he was going to do better. But, man, it's only been not even 2 years. I've seen all I need to see. This staff is just not it, man. When it comes to coaching, you can just see how bad they're being outcoached. When you get outcoached by Ron Rivera, I love Ron Rivera to death. Fantastic guy. He was a great coach for us for a long time, a fantastic guy. When you're getting outcoached by a guy that's always getting outcoached, that's bad. And I can't tell you how many times we just sit there and watch the same game happen over and over and over where there's no adjustments made. And when they do happen, they're very minor. Joe Brady, he's not it. Phil Snow, he's had his moments, but he's not it. They can't adjust and make adjustments when they need to. Matt Rule, he doesn't know what's going on. He's just over his head. And at the bottom line, at the end of the season, no matter what the record is, this coaching staff, they got to walk. I don't care how much money David Tepper has to eat. They got to walk. If you're serious about this team being successful in the future and rebuilding properly and having a good long-term plan, these guys are not it. They're just not it. And it's as simple as that. You got to scrap it and you got to move on.
I mean, I tend to agree with you, Tanner. And I'm the same as you. I've really kind of stuck up for Matt Rule. I felt like last year the team showed a lot of good progress as the season went on. I felt like going to the offseason, we were turning into a really good team. Obviously, this year we came out, started 3-0. It was like, man, the process is paying off. He's done such a great job turning this thing around. But now you get to where we are now, and it's like you said, it's just getting completely outcoached in every game. But not only that, I cannot fathom how this team could be in the position they were for this game and to just completely lay an egg and just not show up at all. No game plan, no energy, no nothing. I mean, there was nothing to be proud of in this game. And our season was riding on it. They didn't even show up to play in a game that was deciding our season. That's got to fall on the coach. That's got to fall on the coaching staff. And, like you said, all the talent on defense, this defense started out very good against the run early on in the season. As the season's gone on, they are horrible. They cannot stop anybody. They could not get off the field against Washington. Washington ran that ball down their damn throats. The Dolphins, they kept it a little more balanced, but they were able to run when they needed to. They threw the ball more, but they ran when they needed to. I mean, Miami came in this game, I think they threw the ball more than almost everyone in the league. They're like top 3 or something like that. So, a team is only going to try to attack you one way, and you still can't stop it. It is just a mess right now, man. This team is a freaking joke.
There's there's a lot of bad things going on with this team. And believe me, I know like the sky is falling. People are jumping off the Panthers bandwagon, if you even want to call it that. They're jumping off the train left and right. Everyone is leaving the station. There's only a handful of people that are left still. It's what it seems like. But I'm telling you, man, no matter how bad things are right now, my little glimmer of hope, my little nod to every Panther fan out there is that do not give up on the guys on this team. This season is over. That's a fact. Next season, do not give up on these players. They need to move on from this coaching staff, but I'm telling you, this team, there's ways they can get better, believe me, but this team is way too talented to be this bad. And to me, that's all on coaching. Because when you've got guys this good and you've got talent like we do, and you can't get these guys to play and to be one cohesive unit and to buy in and to being able to be coached in schemes, because we've seen it before. There's teams all the time that may have better talent, but they're not coached properly. We've got all the talent in the world. All the guys we have are very, very good players. When you can't put it together as a coach, you can't put it together as a team. And to me, I just want people to know that do not give up on the guys on this team. The players are good. We have a lot of good talent in players. We do not have the proper coaching and system that they are in to make them fully flourish.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't even know if I can say that I expect Tepper to move on from Matt Rule. I mean, there's a chance that, with all these college jobs popping up, Notre Dame's out there and Oklahoma, I think, are still out there, right? I can't remember if I've seen names linked to them or not.
I think so. I know USC and LSU are gone.
Right. Yeah. USC and LSU are gone. But, I'm thinking there's a chance maybe Matt Rule, Jets, realizing that this NFL thing is way too hard and he's in way over his head. I would expect Joe Brady to probably go take a college job. It blows my mind that anyone would want to hire Joe Brady to coach their football team right now, whether at the college level or the NFL level. You take that 2019 LSU team off his resume that was just loaded with NFL talent. Guys who in the NFL right now are stars were on that LSU offense. You take that off his resume, what does he have? A pretty good year last year and an awful year this year as the Panthers offensive coordinator. And then some years as an assistant. I mean, that's all he's got. And, even at LSU, he wasn't even the offensive coordinator. He was the passing game coordinator or whatever, which is maybe why he's so addicted to trying to throw the ball in the NFL when there's no need for it. But I just can't see how anybody in charge of a football team would want to hire that man to coach their team.
I mean, hey, I totally agree. I mean, I was skeptical in the preseason this year, and then I've got to do a better job of just trusting my senses, trusting my gut, I guess you could say, because in the preseason I was, I had mentioned it before. I mean, you can even go back in previous episodes and I had said that, but I was like, oh, well, man, it's just the preseason. It's a little vanilla. They don't want to open it up. It hasn't been a lot different. Hasn't been a lot different. And, man, it's just tough. I know you're thinking, it's possible Tepper can't move on from Rule. I'm telling you, man, I just don't see the Panthers really. They might win like one more game this year, maybe against Atlanta, maybe, or the Saints. But if they continue the path they're on for this rest of the season, no matter what they do next fall, it doesn't matter if they draft a quarterback. You cannot convince Panthers fans and people to buy into this team next year. I don't care who they draft. If he brings his staff back with these people, it's going to be tough for me personally as a diehard fan to buy into next season. It's going to be tough.
No, I get that. But I think what concerns me about it is when he was hired, he and Tepper both talked about long-term building, and it's going to take years, and we might have a hard 5. Like I don't remember how many years he said, but he said like 4 or 5 years that are really hard, and then they'll have the culture, and then they'll win for 20 years or whatever. And that was what he was trying to sell, and that's what I don't know how much of that he's still sticking with, but it's just such a red flag for me to watch a team that is literally playing like they couldn't care less when they're right in the middle of the playoff hunt. I mean, that tells me that he has completely lost that locker room. I don't know if it was because they started bringing in some more veteran guys who aren't buying into his hoot and hollering, college coach type of style. I don't know what it is, but it really feels like he's completely lost that team.
Once you lose them, they don't come back. I'm telling you, man. And at the same time, I know you said, I think this is a good point to bring up. You said, because I remember they did the press conference and all that stuff. It's going to take, we want long-term stability, 5-7 years. Good talent evaluators and good coaches can turn around an NFL team in 2 years. That's it. It doesn't take 5 years. This isn't 10, 15 years ago. This isn't an NBA team where you need an absolute all-star to compete. If you bring in the right people, 2 years, you're back on the up. I mean, look at the Bengals. The Bengals were god awful. Got the right coaching staff in there. They got a good quarterback in there. They put some pieces around them. The Bengals are going to the playoffs this year. They were bad for 2 years? The Browns were bad for a long time. They put the right staff in there. 2 years, they've been in the playoff. They were in the playoffs last year. They're in the thick of it this year for competing for a wild card spot. It's just when you have good guys, it doesn't take this long. And I don't have a problem with being patient. God knows I've been patient my whole life with this damn team. We haven't won a Super Bowl. But
Facts.
it doesn't take 5-6 years. 5-6 years, you've already got to pay your first-round picks, your second contract. It takes 2 years at 3 at the most. So I don't want to hear 5-6 years. 2 years of good drafting, good coaches, good philosophy, good system, you're in it. You're in it. That's my belief.
Yeah. Well, you talk about after this year, you talking about it's been 4 years since we made the playoffs. So
Yeah.
I mean, people are sick of waiting. I mean, there's no need for your team to be out of the playoffs for 4 years. And you look at, man, just the quarterback carousel since these guys have been here. You know, with Cam was here, they said they wanted him. Waited to the last second to get rid of him. Put in Teddy Bridgewater. Spend a year with him. It's like, oh yeah, we don't like him. Bring in Sam Darnold. Oh, we don't like him. Bring back Cam Newton. I mean, what are they? I mean, that just tells me they don't know what they're looking for. I mean, I understand, like, franchise quarterbacks don't grow on trees, but if you have a system you believe in, find a guy who fits it and put him in there. And then, wait until something better comes around or you can draft. I mean, I don't know. But when you give up draft picks for Sam Darnold, now we don't have draft picks in the next draft. We're probably going to have to trade back our first pick just to get some damn picks because we done traded all our freaking picks. I mean, something I was thinking about, though, Tanner, it's interesting, is with Miami on this win streak, you look at Tua Tagovailoa's numbers right there. He's been playing pretty well. I wonder if this is going to either take them out of the Deshaun Watson trade conversations or if he lands there, give a team like us a chance to trade for Tua Tagovailoa.
I like where your head's at, but at the same time, I think we're out of the Deshaun Watson race and we're out of the Tua race, if that even becomes a thing. Because here's why. So like you said, you mentioned that we signed Teddy Bridgewater. Was he the best quarterback? No. Did he, was it frustrating at a lot of times to watch him play football? Yes, it was. But we all knew why he was there. He was no pun intended, he was a bridge quarterback to get to the next guy. So we could build up the team around him and then find the guy that we wanted and insert him in. The Panthers were on their way to 22 years ago in our draft when we drafted all defensive players. Hey, we're going to build up the defense. We got good guys quickly. This past offseason, if they would have just stuck with him or just maybe even found another guy that was middle of the road to not invest a ton in, just to be a placeholder. I know it's not fun, but in terms of strategic long-term building, it would have been a good plan. You could have kept Cam Newton for a year. You could have signed him. You could have kept him the year you had him and had the same result, or maybe even better.
Well, they could have just paid Cam Newton, and then they'd be in the same situation they are now.
Correct.
Without wasting an extra, $20-25 million between Darnold and Bridgewater.
Exactly. So now you've got a lot of people that are jumping on Fitterer. I'm not against him because first off, Rule wasn't his guy. Okay, so he never got his chance to really get his guy. And then at the end of the day, he's the GM. But if the coaching staff and Matt Rule wants him to make a trade, like, he's gonna do it. A lot of these moves have Matt Rule's hands all over it. Mortgaging the future for Sam Darnold, trading picks for C.J. Henderson, trading for Stephon Gilmore. Some of those moves I like, but if we would have just stayed put, had another okay year, instead of mortgaging the future, we could have kept drafting, kept building this O-line, and then this year we maybe could have made on a play on a quarterback that we liked, or we could have made a play on more players. Instead of jumping the gun because Rule thought he could win now we mortgage our future for a lot of stuff. We're not a win-now team, and now we're kind of stuck. I mean, it's a tough spot to be in. They jumped the shark just a little too early, and now it's biting them in the ass.
The Do you think Christian McCaffrey will get traded this offseason?
I don't because of his contract, and you know it sucks because McCaffrey he's a beast, but he's become injury prone. He's become a problem in terms of injuries, and it sucks. Um, I still think he's a valuable asset when healthy, but I don't think that it's stupid to look at other options of guys that you could potentially bring in. I know we brought in Chuba Hubbard, obviously, fourth round pick. He's been okay. I don't think he's the answer long term, but I wouldn't hesitate to maybe look at other guys. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's the NFL. I mean, the best availability is availability, or excuse me, the best ability is availability. So, I don't think they're going to trade him because I don't think who no smart GM would trade a lot of stuff to take on that contract for a running back that is good but is frequently hurt. So I don't think that they're going to get any trade value for him, or anyone's going to want to take on that contract.
Yeah, I mean, that was looking back. I mean, you can't say that wasn't another mistake by the Panthers, man, paying him that contract, because since he's gotten that contract, he's played like 6 games in 2 years.
It's tough. I think hindsight's 2020. You have to think about it from the perspective at that time. At that time, he was our best player, our only player that we had. And he just came off that amazing year, and I don't really think they had a choice. It would have been really, really ballsy for them not to sign him. And granted, it looks like it would have paid out, but at the time, I just think that's a move that they kind of had to make. Maybe
Yeah,
not for that money, but I feel like at the time, looking at it, like if they wanted to sign Christian McCaffrey, Panthers Nation would have been like burning up in flames.
yeah. No, I agree with you, but I'm just saying, looking back, you
Yeah.
at this point pretty much have to chalk that up as another mistake.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, looking back, it's unless he can just regain being healthy, which I don't know how bad this ankle injury is. It could be one of those, the season's over, just shut him down. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Oh man, it's getting
Now,
tough out here.
Let's talk about another guy that's on IR.
Okay,
Your boy,
that's your boy.
Dante Jackson. Listen, man, I have been a Donte backer, a Donte supporter, a giving him a little bit more leash than some people have. But these past couple weeks, man, that pay that he's been trying to earn has gone down significantly. Dante's not a bad cornerback, but he's not top tier for the money that he's going to be looking for. They have been picking on him left and right, and he hasn't even. And another thing I don't understand is there might be something I don't know here. Stephon Gilmore, former Defensive Player of the Year, is not manning up or following the number one receiver for the past 2 teams we've played. Why is that? Is he hurt? Is there something I'm missing? Is his coaching? I don't understand.
All I can think is they got to feel like he's not 100% or he's not capable of keeping up with those guys. I mean, that's all I can think. I mean, I know Dante Jackson's got more speed and finesse, I guess, so maybe they think he's the better guy to match up with. I don't know, man, because I'm watching these games and I'm going crazy. Like, it is obvious Dante can't man up with these guys, but yet they refuse to put Gilmore on him. I don't know. I mean, Waddle is one thing because I know he's really fast, but McLaurin's just a good receiver. I mean, he's fast, but he's not burning past people. That's somebody I feel like Gilmore could at least match up with. I mean, I almost understand Waddle, Dante Jackson couldn't keep up with him either. But, for the longest time, like we sat here and we were like Dante Jackson haters low key. And then he started to have a good season this year. And we said, all right, maybe we were wrong. But looking back these last couple weeks, man, we were right the whole time about him. He's just not it. He's just not it. And I'm telling you, man, if the Panthers give this man a big contract, I might pull up at the stadium because there is no way they can do that.
They won't. They won't. I don't think there's any way they can. Um, you know, it's tough because I don't know the extent. I don't know if Gilmore's still kind of injured or something like that, which also takes into effect bringing him back next year. We've got J.C. Horn. He'll be back, which a lot of people are shitting on that pick because the state our offensive line is in. I still don't hate it because I still think he's going to be a very, very good player, and you can never have enough good cornerbacks. So I'm still okay with that pick,
I
depending
agree.
on believing on him turning out.
The
C.J.
Justin
Henderson,
Fields thing too also makes it pretty bad.
it
But
does. It does.
I'm with you.
Um,
I'm with you. I still think he's gonna be a great player, and I don't hate the pick. But
No. And believe it or not, CJ Henderson the past couple of weeks, he's I haven't heard his name a ton, but I know he's been on the field. I've seen him make a couple of tackles. Not saying he's going to be our number 2 corner next year. I don't know, but he seems to be getting more PT and
yeah,
playing.
I agree.
You
He's
know,
showing flashes. I agree.
yeah,
And
he's and also Keith Taylor's played well all season, so
yep,
they have room to not bring Dante Jackson back.
I agree.
If Gilmore is healthy and he's good to go, I think you definitely make him a contract offer and get him to come back. I'm totally cool with that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, I don't see how you can have a group this talented and then overpay for a Dante Jackson. I'm
You can't.
sorry. I know Dante Jackson's made his plays since he's been here. I know there's a lot of people who really like him, but to me, it makes no sense to throw some money at Dante Jackson, especially when you need to, if you're going to keep one of the two, I would keep the Stephon Gilmore. You could probably get him at a much lower price currently, assuming he wants to stick around this, shithole of a team we have right now. He probably wants to get the hell out of there. But
Probably wants to go back to New England.
yeah, well, I mean, he's getting up there in age. I'm sure he wants to be on a team that's contending, and you can't say we're contending. So
Yeah. No, I mean, I understand. We've got a lot of free agents this year. I think a guy you absolutely have to bring back, and I haven't understand a lot of the criticisms towards some of this a little bit, but Hassan Reddick, you got to bring this guy back.
you
He
have
was
to.
an absolute sack machine this year. He was absolutely our best pass rusher. Unless he gets a better offer from a better team, there's no way the Panthers don't try to re-sign this guy.
Yeah, this goes back kind of to the Matt Rule thing because he's kind of a Matt Rule guy. He coached him in college. So if, Matt Rule ends up getting the boot, I don't know that Hassan Reddick would want to come back to play for a new coach. But, man, I would love to have him back. I think he's been one of the best pass rushers in the NFL this year. So,
Yeah.
assuming we could bring him back, he has to be priority number 1, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I just pulled up the I don't know if you can pull it up on your screen as well. Pull up the Panthers free agency list for this upcoming season. I want to take a look at it. There's a lot of interesting people to look at. I'm on a website called overthecap.com. Seems like they've got a pretty good breakdown of salaries and things like that. Let's see here.
Here you go.
Cool. Let's see. Is it on the screen?
Can you see it?
Hold on one second. I think it might have kicked me out. Hold on. It's weird. It's like I can see it, but I can't at the same time. Hold on a second.
Yeah, that's quite a list. Well, here, I'll read the list.
Okay, here it is. I've got it.
Right
I've
at
got
the
it
top.
now. I just
Okay.
screen was being small. Why is it doing this? Huh, interesting. But I'll just I'll look at it here on my phone. I know my screen's being weird for some reason. But looking at the top, I mean, we're on the same website. Obviously, we just talked about Stephon Gilmore. Matt Paradis, he's not coming back.
Trash.
Obviously, you've got a tough decision to make at quarterback. We're not sure yet. That's still up in the air.
At this point, Tanner, I think what makes the most sense is what we just talked about before with Teddy Bridgewater. At this point, Cam Newton, make him your bridge quarterback. Give him 2 or 3 year contract till you can bring somebody in. There's really not anybody in this draft class that I get super excited about at quarterback. I mean, obviously who knows what their path is going to look like, but none of them really jump out to me as guys that I think are going to be great NFL players.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, I'm a diehard Carolina fan. I don't know if I have a ton of faith in Sam Howell. I don't know if I have a ton of faith in a lot of these guys. So, unless barring Cam Newton plays like how he did this Sunday, like all the rest of the games, I could see them bringing him back on at least a team-friendly deal, unless he doesn't want to. So we'll see how that goes. Talked about Hassan Reddick. He can definitely come back. Daquan Jones, I think he's a guy we can probably let go. He hasn't been terrible. He hasn't been great, just kind of a guy, which is kind of what we've had at our number 2 D tackle spot since Starr and KK have been gone. I really like to see like a good long-term starter there, but we'll see.
Well, maybe Phil Hoskins can emerge to take over that spot. A guy we just talked about really really emerged in this Dolphins game.
Correct. Absolutely. I mean, he played well.
And again, I feel like Bravion Roy is a pretty good player. I mean, honestly, this year I think he's been kind of disappointing because I thought he flashed a lot more last year than we anticipated he would. But obviously, I think he has he could have a future ahead of him.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to, see if we can get him more involved. He had a pretty good game. I mean, he was a 7th-round pick. I mean, how many 7th-round picks are still being on their team? So that's a testament to him.
And that was his first opportunity to play.
Yeah, it was. I don't think I've seen him play all year until that point.
I think this was the first game he was active.
Yeah, so shout out to him. He made it work. I'm okay with letting Justin Burris go. I think there's better safety upgrades out there or someone. I mean, he hasn't been terrible, but he's also caused us on a lot of penalties. He hasn't done anything like great.
He's a guy. I mean, it would just depend on how things shake out. I wouldn't be, super. I wouldn't feel strongly either way, I guess is what I'm saying.
Correct. Obviously, we talked about Dante Jackson. Frankie Louvu, a guy I want to bring back. I think he's played very, very well in his position when he's played. He's done well. He's made plays on special teams. He's made plays when he's played on defense. I like him a lot. I'd like to bring him back.
I agree, especially because he does good things when he's on the field, but his production is not going to jump off the page. I think you could probably get him for a pretty good deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the only other guy I'm looking at on this list, other than just a couple guys, you got Brandon Zylstra. They might bring him back maybe, and then you've got Alex Erickson. He might come back. You got to bring back Zane Gonzalez.
I was about to say, don't skip over my boy Zane now. Zane's got to come on back.
Can't skip out on him. And there's actually one more guy here. There's actually 2 more guys I want to talk about. Marquis Haynes. I don't see why they couldn't bring him back on a team-friendly deal. He's always been a good rotational piece. He can get after it sometimes. I'm okay with bringing him back.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. I'm a big Marquis Haynes fan, so I always felt like he's a good player.
Absolutely. And then the last guy on my list who has been catching some flack the past couple games has been Jermaine Carter Jr. I feel like he's been serviceable. He hasn't been terrible this year, but I also feel like there are players, I feel like middle linebacker isn't a hard position to draft, like a very, very good – but I feel like we could probably do better.
Well, we kind of did do better with Denzel Perryman in the beginning of the year.
True.
We traded him away for a 6th-round draft pick. Now he leads the NFL in tackles. So we rolled the dice. That was another bad call by whoever's in charge. I don't know.
Has he really been that? I mean, I know he's played. I know he's on the Raiders, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know he was leading the league in tackles personally.
Last I heard, he led the NFL in tackles. So that's
I'll have to look that up
for a 6th-round draft pick.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's tough to replace Luke Kuechly, but I mean, I guess he was a guy that we could have held on to be a little bit better. But I mean, there's so much going on, man. It's
I mean,
bottom
personally,
line is,
so go ahead.
I was just going to say, the bottom line is this, man. We know it needs to be fixed. They got to get with this coaching staff. They got to get rid of these guys. I know it sucks. I know Tepper's going to have to eat a lot of money. But I know one thing, Tepper is not stupid as to what's going on in this field. On the field, he sees what's going on. He knows what's happening. We got to get rid of this coaching staff. We got to keep our key guys that we have, but we have got to get some better O-linemen and just fill in some of these other spaces because there's talent on this football team. I've seen one thing that's happened a lot. I've been watching a lot of different Panthers podcasts. I've been listening, reading a lot of articles, seeing what's going on. The sky is falling down, rightfully so. But this team has talent. It'd be one thing if this team had no talent and they were old and they were washed up. This team has young, good talent. We just need the right person to come in here, put it together, and we will flourish. I'm telling you.
I mean, I agree with you. Obviously, there's talent all over this team, especially, in the skill positions and on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, there's no reason we should be as inadequate as we are as a team right now. It's just crazy. And, yeah, I mean, it falls back on the coaches, but it's going to be interesting to see, if the Panthers did move in that direction, how many coaches would be scared to come coach here knowing that Tepper had signed a guy to a 7-year contract and then let him go after 2 years. But I'm telling you, Tanner, I'm not 100% sure that that's the way that Tepper is going to go. I think someone's going to be the fall guy. I think Joe Brady's either going to get fired or take another job, and they'll always point at him and say he was the problem. But I'll be shocked if Matt Rule's not coming back next year. And, like I said, I'm with you. I would like to see him go at this point, but I'll be shocked if it happens.
I feel like at this point, if it doesn't matter who they bring in as an offensive or defensive coordinator, it's going to be a hard sell for Panthers fans to go into next season with Matt Rule as the coach.
Yeah.
Especially, let's say we don't know what's going to happen at quarterback. Let's say they don't draft a quarterback. There's nothing to really hang your hat on. I mean, yeah, you might finally get some offensive linemen and things like that, which is great, but there's just not a lot to cling to for next season if you bring this guy back. I mean, if I was a player, knowing what's going on, how frustrating and bad things have been, I don't know if I would want to resign and come back, especially knowing what the coaching staff's done with the talent on this team. I just don't know if I would personally.
I mean, it's almost mind-blowing how bad this team has been lately, just when you look at that roster.
Yeah.
But, hey, man, I don't know. It's pretty sad how it's, like we said, whatever, 6 more games, 5 more games, and we're sitting here looking at who's going to be a free agent. What are we going to talk about when the season's over at this point, Tanner, at this rate?
Well, the Hornets are looking promising.
That's true. We can talk about the Hornets.
I don't watch much hockey, but I know the Hurricanes are doing pretty well.
That's true.
It's weird. We're good in it's bad when the Hornets are, looking a lot more promising than the Panthers because that's never happened.
It's
ever.
dark times. The Carolinas
Dark
right
times.
now.
But hey, I'm here for the Hornets bandwagon. I like some of the guys they got. I mean, even during the offseason, I mean, we're going to keep updated with what's going on. I mean, we've got, we're going to have our own episode where we go down each single thing that needs to be done, and things that we want to go through, potential free agent targets, potential draft prospects, and just, keep it going. I mean, believe me, if we've made it through this, we can make it through a lot more. But I just, I feel like in the end, this is a talented football team with good players. This team shouldn't be this bad, and I think everyone knows it. And I think, there's some changes that definitely need to be made to get us, to the next level. So
I'm with you, man. Send Matt Rule packing. Hashtag rule out is the one I'm seeing on the timeline. Hashtag rule out.
You know what? I want to bring up something else real quick. This
What's
is
up?
my thing. We're gonna stop and then I bring up random shit. I've seen a lot of people criticize two guys a lot recently
Mhm.
that I disagree with. One is Derek Brown. I've seen a lot of people criticizing him a lot lately.
Yeah.
I want to say that he hasn't been great this season, but I think a lot of that has to do. First off, we're number one in the league in penalties. That's a big sign of coaching right there. Um, a lot of offsides, a lot of jumping things like that. But the guy's still young. Okay, he's got all the tools necessary. I think with the right coaching and the right people, Derek Brown can still. People call him a bust. I don't think he's a bust. I think that he's still got a lot of time to develop. It's super rare D tackles come into the league and light it up immediately, unless you're Aaron Donald. It just doesn't happen. So I still have a lot of faith in him. In him personally, I think he's going to turn things around. I don't want to call him a bust yet. Second is Brian Burns. A lot of people have been shitting on Brian Burns for the past month, couple weeks. Yes, he's a smaller size DN. He has trouble stopping the run. We know that. He's not a bigger guy. But to me, he does a lot of things that don't go noticed. He's probably going to finish the season with double-digit sacks, close to it. He's got a lot of potential, still hasn't put it there yet, but I'm not willing to call the guy a bust and say that we need to move on from him. I'm seeing people saying, trade Derek Brown, trade Brian Burns. They suck. First-round picks. I mean, not every first-round pick is going to be, 2015 prime Cam Newton. But these guys, I'm not ready to give up on these guys yet. I still think they're very, very good players and can get even better.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you look at just the beginning of the year, they were both very good at the beginning of the year. And obviously, they've kind of fallen off, but so has the whole team. And, we pointed at coaching a million times, but I don't know, man. Something just ain't right with the Panthers right now. So I feel like you can't point at anybody. And honestly, anybody who feels like Derek Brown is a bust needs to go back and watch the end of the 2018 season, because we had the worst run defense in team history. Is that what it was? I can't remember. Some
It was
crazy
bad.
stat.
It was terrible.
Some crazy stat like that. Or it was like the worst in, something. I don't know. It was really, really bad. My point is, go back and watch those highlights, because teams were carrying the ball for 15 yards a pop on us.
Yeah.
If
No, I
anything, you were
agree.
talking about how we need to go get another good defensive tackle to put next to him. And,
Correct.
not that Daquan Jones is bad, but he's not. He ain't getting back there either.
Yeah. So I agree. Plenty of things to work on, but at the end of the day, we're really not going to get an answer until the season is over as to what is coming next. This season is over, but we will see what the future holds when the season is over and we see what happens with this coaching staff. It all starts at the top. So
That's right. Well, man, that's all I got. I'm good to go.
that's all I got. Enjoy your bye week.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll come on next week and do something. Yeah, it's nice to have a bye week. Because especially when your team sucks, because you don't have to worry about going through the things that you go through every Sunday.
Yeah.
It's great.
I always tell people the Panthers can't hurt me this week. So that's, something to look forward to.
Yep. I might go do something productive on a Sunday. Probably not, but I'll try.
I'll at least talk about it until
That's
the
right.
time comes. Then I'll drink a beer and take a nap.
Yep, that's right.
Boom.
But yeah, that's all I got, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's our first full season doing this. We're about to make it through the first one. It's been a lot of fun, and the season has not turned out the way that we want it to. Believe me, I know. But I still think at the end of the day that it's sucking right now, but something good will happen in the off season, and I think we've got the guys. We just have to put this thing together.
Yeah, man. That you sound like a true Panthers fan, just keeping the positive thoughts about the future going, refusing to acknowledge your pain.
I have let it all out. Believe me, I've let all the pain out, and there's more. Maybe some of it, I've been hiding a little bit, but I don't know, man. We'll see. I could end
We'll
up getting
see.
my soul crushed on a bye week. Who knows?
You know it. All right. Peace out, everybody. #rule out.